Peace, family. This is Iapo Moyende Ngina, otherwise known as the Rogue Black Girl, and I haven't done a live in quite a few weeks, and I have been wanting to go live for about the last 2 weeks in particular, for obvious reasons, in lieu of what's been happening around the country, and but I have really made a conscious effort to hold off on what I want to contribute to the discussion that everybody is having around the killing, the murder of George Floyd, and the subsequent rebellions that have sparked across the country, the protests and the rebellions and across the country. This is going to be a short live because it was just sitting on me heavy. I'm actually sitting in the parking lot getting ready to go to the store, but I was like, you know what, let me just pause for a second. There's so many aspects of what is happening that I just am really concerned if we don't get a handle on who is creating and forwarding a very specific narrative around these events, then we will be in the same place we always end up after something like this happens. Having galvanized the enthusiasm and energy of hundreds of thousands, if not millions of young people, to at the end of the day win nothing in the interest of the people. To be back to goddamn square one with nothing to show for that kind of movement, for that kind of motion, for that kind of energy. And I am so concerned. Some of you might have seen me on a live last week saying I wasn't going to participate in any more demonstrations. I haven't necessarily taken a hard line yet on that. I'm still kind of like debating, but I will say this, that I have been seeing some video footage that has had me really concerned, man, really fucking nervous about the infiltration of bullshit inside the movement and inside the line. And what I'm talking about specifically is this morning I was inundated with about 16 different, not joking, 16 different videos of cops kneeling at demonstrations, of cops, doing the goddamn electric slide with people, people at demonstrations, cops high-fiving people at the demonstrations, cops hugging people at the demonstrations. That's a problem, man. It's not a small problem, because it feeds into this narrative that what is happening in this country is just a few bad apples in a bunch gone astray. And that's not what is happening in this country. That's never what's happened in this country. The state is an institution. The members of the state are members of the institution. If the institution is corrupt by inception, corrupt from the beginning, then all of the institutions that spring up from it are corrupt and meant to maintain the status quo. Now, let me break that down. The state is a coercive apparatus. Everything that is attached to the state is made and created to convince you that where you are in life is your just lot in life, right? It is to convince you, whether through force or through ideology, that the government, that the society is the way that it is because it's supposed to be that way. So to know that the cops, the military, the National Guard, the court system, lawyers, these people make up the coercive enforcement apparatus of the state. These are not rogue police officers. These are not bad guys amidst the good. The state is corrupt. The institution is corrupt. And we're having the wrong goddamn conversations, man. And these people in power, this is the propaganda campaign. People in power know that we are constantly pulled around by our goddamn heartstrings. All they got to do is play some music. Black folks gonna dance. This is the narrative. You hear what I'm telling you. All you got to do is say a prayer or kneel or, and all of a sudden we're won emotionally to some bullshit. The state is always corrupt. That's why these young people have created a damn slogan talking about all cops are bad. Because while the, quote, few bad guys that are running amok in every community in this country, the so-called good guys ain't saying a goddamn thing. Aren't checking the so-called bad guys. You know what I'm saying? We cannot be out here, man, letting our enemy create the goddamn narrative. If you are at a demonstration and you see a pig kneel, you tell that motherfucker to get the fuck up. We don't want his solidarity. We don't want his the only solidarity we want coming from a pig is if that motherfucker strips out of that goddamn uniform, strips out of that badge on site and sets that shit on fire. The state is corrupt. That's why that Asian pig sat there when he knew he could have done something and watched that man get snuffed. In 8 minutes, it took 8 minutes to kill that man. 8 minutes of suffering and fighting for his damn life. And nobody intervened. There are no good cops. Not in an institution that is born corrupt. That's another conversation we don't want to have, man. Because we're invested in America. We're invested in this shit, yo. We love it. We sing songs about it. We stand up and salute the goddamn flag. This motherfucker is drenched, is drowning in the blood of hundreds of millions of people. Hundreds of millions of people. It is the blood of goddamn near 200 million indigenous people that took to create this bitch. That shit, they aren't absolved from that. It took the theft of 250 million Africans and scattered them across the goddamn world to create this bitch. They aren't absolved from that. Like all of a sudden they say, oh, well, we done stole enough shit, so we don't have to steal no more. That hadn't happened. The rate of exploitation, brigandage, theft, rape, colonization has not ebbed, has not slowed since the end of slavery. It is business as usual. There are an estimated 800,000 women and children being held against their will in this country right now as slaves. 800,000. There is an estimate of 3 million people on the planet who are enslaved. God damn it. But we love America. So I'm sitting here, I'm watching this movie, man, about the First World War. And how the First World War took the lives of 50 million human beings in 4 years. 50 million human beings in 4 years in the First World War. The Second World War took 75 million goddamn people. This institution is corrupt from inception. There is no way to clean up the edges of a motherfucking system that is born corrupt, created corrupt, continues to be corrupt. All of its institutions are fucking corrupt. Its educational system is corrupt. Its prison system is corrupt. Its judicial system is corrupt. Its healthcare system is corrupt. Everything that emerges from a parasitic society is meant to maintain hegemony of power. We keep fighting in these goddamn circles to reform the prison system and reform the police and reform this and we lose sight of the big picture that America has caused the grief and immiseration of every human being on the planet Earth. Every human being, goddamn it, every animal, the goddamn ozone layer, the ocean, like every fucking horrible thing imaginable of the last 400 years has its inception in goddamn white power in general and American colonialism in particular. So this started out about me seeing all these people confused out here in the world without an analysis being handed to them to help arm them politically, to challenge these motherfuckers. We don't need no cops on the front lines of our demonstrations deflecting from what the people are calling for. The people are calling for swift judgment, justice. God damn it. These pigs need to spend the rest of their lives in prison just like anybody else would if they got caught on film murdering somebody in broad daylight. And we can't have it's a show, people. It's a show. It's media. It's propaganda. Do not fall for this bullshit. You keep your demands for the life of this man and his family, for the lives of many others, Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery and all these Africans and these indigenous people and these Mexican people who keep getting off by these fucking pigs. Do not get deflected. Do not get betrayed by emotionalism. Do not get caught up in this bullshit. Man, that fucking video I saw of these people in Atlanta line dancing with the goddamn National Guard. That is a failure of revolutionaries to rapidly politicize the masses. It is a failure of those of us who know better to rapidly politicize the masses of people who are taken to the goddamn streets, who are risking their lives and their livelihood to defend a family they don't even know. To get out here in these goddamn streets and get caught up in some bullshit with dancing cops and shit, kneeling cops and hugging cops. Fuck that. God damn it. That's got to be the goddamn line. You see one of them motherfuckers on their knees, if you ain't gonna take a brick to their goddamn head, you tell that motherfucker to get up. We don't need his goddamn solidarity. We don't need no fucking pigs trying to take away from the legitimacy of the goddamn rage of people out in these streets for what continues to happen to black, brown, and red people in this goddamn country at the hands of the fucking state, at the hands of these motherfuckers standing on the front line with assault rifles talking about kneeling on the goddamn ground. Get the fuck up. Get up. God damn it. And you need to be telling every young person you know. I went to the last demonstration I went to, the one before. The last demonstration I went to, that was when I said I wasn't going no more. We have got to create a hard line. And we have to demand everybody stick to that line. God damn it. I go to this demonstration. There must have been 20,000 people in the streets of downtown LA. That shit looked like Mardi Gras. I was disgusted. That shit looked like a fucking parade. It looked like goddamn a party or some shit. Like, what's that shit like Burning Man or some shit? Motherfuckers blowing bubbles and shit. Playing music. Everybody got their boom boxes playing music and shit. Dancing in the fucking street. This shit is life and goddamn death out here. These motherfuckers want to murk every last one of us that they cannot control. This shit is not a party. It's not an opportunity or an excuse for you to get out of the house because you mad about Corona. God damn it. While y'all partying and shit, blowing bubbles, fucking hugging pigs and shit, people are fighting for their right to breathe air out this bitch. To walk unaccosted by Amy Coopers and motherfuckers. And let me say one more thing about this bitch. The state, man, is such a consolidated force. You understand? This, you know, we lagging behind in our understanding, first of all, of our relationship to the state, but second of all, how to fucking contend. We're not even in a position to contend because we get sidetracked so easy. When you see a white woman crying crocodile tears, threatening to weaponize the police against a black man because he had the audacity to tell that trick to put the goddamn collar on her dog. That is the state. That's a manifestation of the state, you see. White people have always functioned as an unofficial arm of the